Hey, my name is Ethan Young. I'm going to talk about how ineffective gun-free zones are in the United States. If you look at this pie chart from 1950 through June of 2019, you'll notice 94% is orange and 6% is blue. The 94% represents how many mass shootings happen in gun-free zones, and 6% represents how many mass shootings happen in not gun-free zones where people are able to carry. When you look at the mass shooting that happened at the College of Virginia Tech, you will notice that the shooter went into the situation knowing that there'd be no students armed with guns or even teachers or officials armed with guns. So he knew he was going to be safe the entire time while he was doing his plan. This biggest school shooter that happened in high school was the Columbine High School shooting. The shooting happened in 1999 and is still one of the most thought out and worst school shootings in history. Looking at this shooting, the two kids knew, going to this day, that there would be no one at the school with firearms to harm them, or cops or anything until after the shooting happened, because when they went to the building, they saw signs that said gun-free zone, so they knew it was going to be safe. There are many teachers in school that would be able to qualify to carry guns, such as law enforcement and ex-Marines. If there were even just two teachers at the Columbine High School shooting that were carrying, you might have even seen this shooting not happen, or just way less people be getting injured during this school shooting. Back when I was in school, I knew of 3 teachers that would have qualified to carry guns during school hours. By having teachers carry on school grounds, the student body will feel way much safer. And as long as you have the right officials like we did, my principal served multiple years in Afghanistan, so he was even more qualified than some even police officers were. When you look at the Stoneman Douglas shooting, you will notice that there was an officer in the school before the shooting even happened, but then as the shooter started, he left the school and hid in the back of the parking lot where he was going to be unharmed. If you compare this to the Sutherland Church shooting in Texas, you will notice that a random citizen that was a plumber that lived down the road heard the gun shooting and went to the scene. He was able to wound the gunman and follow him down the road going at high speeds of about 100 miles an hour. Once he was able to get the guy off the road, he held the guy at gunpoint for 5 to 15 minutes before the cops were able to get there. Another interesting thing that you will notice looking at the school shootings is that most of the school shooters will end up shooting like over 1,000 rounds and only killing like 10 to 15 people. So you would think that it would be super easy to help defend and take down these people, but realistically it's super difficult because all the areas that these mass shootings are happening in are gun-free zones. So all the people with CPLs don't have their guns on them when they're going into their church or the school grounds. So it's just an easy target for the school shooter to handle. Overall, gun-free zones are pointless. There are too many shootings in gun-free zones that could be prevented by having citizens just carry guns at all times. Overall, I hope that you can get good information about how gun-free zones are just super ineffective, and the only way that you can help defend yourself is by actually carrying yourself and not relying on other officials.